Hey guys, Evan Carden here with yet another informative video. Before we get started, I just want to say I am not a doctor. This is for educational and entertainment purposes only. And with regard to these natty or nots, I do not have any proof of anything, guys. I am giving you my expert opinion based on all the publicly available information. So sort of an interesting video for today, guys. I say that because the person we are talking about has not even done a powerlifting meet in over 4 years, but I'm sure many of you have heard of him anyway. That is Jesse Norris. He was basically like the John Haack before John Haack. Like, we had never even seen like these numbers ever before. He was like clearly the best in the world, factoring in body weight. Because of John Haack, now some of his numbers, like his bench, aren't going to seem too crazy, but hopefully, you know, they're still very impressive even now with, you know, powerlifting is way more popular now than it was back then. And, you know, there's something to be said for, you know, doing it before. It's like this cool thing to do for Instagram likes. You know what I mean? Like, you were just doing it because you wanted to. I'm talking about him, you know, Pete Rubish, George Lehman, all those guys were the guys I was watching when I was, you know, in high school and stuff like that, and sort of wanted to be like, and sort of got there on deadlifts. Not too much else other than that, but hey, we'll try, guys. So anyway, let's first talk about his physique. As you can see in his thumbnail, and I want to say he's only 19 in that thumbnail. Super full in the traps, delts, chest, vascular. I've always thought he looked better than John Haack physique-wise, and we're going to be making lots of John Haack comparisons, guys, for obvious reasons. I don't know if that's body fat or just genetics, but I don't know. I've always thought he looked better than, more impressive than John Haack, but that's just me. You can disagree if you want. So yeah, guys, his physique, again, just 19 in that thumbnail. Always looked to me as enhanced, like basically as jacked as you can be at around, you know, 200, 205, you know, 5'8" or so. So, well, let's get into his lifts. And it's sort of interesting. He's actually like jumped around from USPA to USAPL and sort of back and forth. Another reason why I thought this was sort of interesting. And he's actually, his best numbers really aren't that far off in USPA and USAPL. So we'll get into what that means. His best all-time numbers were 766 squat. I want to say like 440 bench and 826 deadlift. Still better than John Haack on the squat, and might always be, honestly. I don't know if John's ever going to beat more than 766. Well behind on bench. But guys, when you got like long arms, you don't have a huge arch, there's really just not much you could do on bench, guys, you know, coming from personal experience here. And deadlift, 826. Better than John Haack until his last meet where he got like 848. So past Jesse there too. So, you know, we can't really have that Jesse versus John comparison now. It's sort of like a done deal, especially because it doesn't look like Jesse will be coming back. But anyway, so he actually, if you go back all the way to when he was a teenager, he did single ply meets, and then there's like a two year gap or so before he did his first raw meet, and he actually would hit about 30 kg bigger total at that raw meet than he ever hit in single ply. And I sort of have a theory about that. But before that, there was actually a meet that he did that's not on Open Powerlifting. If you were to search Jesse Norris 1850 at 19 years old, and this was a motivational video for me I used to watch all the time, and there's Indestructible by Disturbed playing in the background. That was when he was 19 in the middle, and I think this was the first meet he was enhanced. He did like 700 squat, 400 bench, 750 deadlift. Again, this is a bigger total than he did ever in single ply as a teenager, and I think that is where also that the thumbnail I use is from. It's around that time. Again, I don't know exactly, but around when he was a teenager. I think this is when he was first getting into anabolics. That's just my theory, guys. But again, anyway, so his USAPL numbers actually are pretty similar, because a couple of his squats that he missed, they were on depth. I don't know, maybe he missed one or so, but basically every missed squat that you see on openpowerlifting.com, it was from depth. It wasn't because he wasn't strong enough. And the bench was pretty similar. I think there was one he did have a bench injury from. And then the deadlift was a little lot lower. But remember, guys, he's not using a deadlift bar. He's using a stiff bar. So that's going to be, 20, 30 pounds right there, even if you were on the same drugs, honestly, even if you were just as strong. So again, guys, that makes me think he's doing what, Rushka was doing, what I talked about in that, the Ashton Rushka video. Again, he has not been he has not tested positive for anything either. Now, there was one time Jesse Norris did test positive after taking the stimulant Craze by Driven Sports. This was my favorite pre-workout back in the day. So 5 or 6 years ago, he did test positive for that and receive a 6-month suspension from the USAPL. Now, this was just because it was a banned stimulant, not a steroid. So, you could debate whether that would make him not natty or not. I would say no if that was the only thing, but if you can sort of tell, I don't really think that. And then apparently on there was a Mark Bell, a super training, I don't know if it was a podcast or YouTube video, where he said something like, I'm not going to sit here and say I'm natty or something like that. Again, I don't know what it is. I've never actually seen it. I've just seen countless comments alluding to that. If you know what I'm talking about, you can link it down below. I was never able to find that. So yeah, that's sort of an admission right there. Regardless of the lifts, regardless of how he looks, he is still stronger than John Hack on squats at the same weight class. He just got passed on deadlift, but again, John was juicing for a couple of years and just now passed him. Bench, what are you going to do on bench, guys? It's hard to get it stronger if you don't have the right, right leverages, big hands, a huge arch. It's not going to go up fast. So yeah, guys, I think, again, guys, what I was alluding to before, that he started taking PEDs in that there's a 2.5 year gap between his single ply meets as a teenager and when he would do Raw Unity in February of 2014. And I want to say that was when he started. Again, there's that meet I referred to that is not on Open Powerlifting. You can search Jesse Norris 1850 at 19 years old. It says it's a world record. I don't know how it's a world record if it's not even on Open Powerlifting, but very impressive either way. I think, judging by his physique at 19, again, it looks enhanced to me. Super strong, obviously. And so yeah, guys. And it's really too bad that he got some injuries. It doesn't really look like he's going to make a return. Definitely not to where he was then. I don't know, to powerlifting to begin with. I just saw some Instagram training clips. He was squatting like 500 for more than I've ever done. So still pretty strong, obviously. But also, if you were to look at his current physique pictures, they're actually, he looks more natty than he did when he was 19, if that makes any sense. I don't know if that means he is natty now or he's just on TRT. But either way, the fact that he would be more jacked as a teenager than he is as a 26-year-old man, that's a sign right there, guys. The sign. I don't know what you want to make of that Craze thing, if you count that or not. And, the fact that he sort of admitted it possibly on a Mark Bell podcast. So, yeah, guys, that's really all I have to say on that. Let me know what you think about Jesse Norris, whether he is natty or not, in the comments. And who else you want me to do a natty or not video on. Thanks.